boys and girls, we're going to be kicking off game number 1 on day number 1.
Bermuda is on OG map where everything started, but also a little bit of introduction of the champion bundle by Buriram United. So it will be coming soon. Let's see the team who's getting a good drop already. The flight path is coming from Graveyard, heading into Sentosa. And we've seen a lot of teams already pulling away from that flight path. And no hot drops just yet, other than those who are trying to challenge Buriram in peak. And that is none other than Esports Putrajaya.
Off of information, Buriram making sure that info is played perfectly on the outside as well. Jonah on the flank towards the left finds a couple of tags. Mini Uzi in his hands. Kenshin too low here. And I think there's a medkit on him, but just not enough time. The quick footwork can't get away from Jonah just yet.
Oh, look at Buriram United, how they gathered up. They don't want to leave everyone behind other than Jonah, who did manage to take down one of the players from EP. Mikasa on left side, trying to go for a split on the right side, but we'll see though if they'll be able to outwit Buriram United at this point, connected to that basic therapy. And it's Getna who goes down from the hands of Ryu's Charge Buster.
Oh, Moshi, the only one left here. A sliver of health, almost makes a mistake, but manages to recover in the nick of time here. Who goes for the Punisher, has got the Charge Buster in hand. Moshi, not your space, but the Max 7 in hand! And it still does not help him out. Kenshin with the final Punisher, and Buriram are out early in game number 1, day number 1.
All right, that's 1 for 1 already for Jaya.
But we all know Raja, we all know Kenshin. Mikacha, you talked about him, the Filipino firepower. Kenshin, just deadly, and he was the one that put that final bullet on the coffin of the one and only Buriram there. Sajid's down on the ground. Here comes the Min with the Max 7 in his hands as well. PE Sports about to be in trouble as the gangsters have arrived. But the numbers gameplay. This is PE. They have the advantage. LBT circling around together with Bidep. And the gangsters, as quickly as they moved on in, they are trying to get the heck out of there.
Lao Ho knows exactly what is the limit for a sniper like Siege1, and he just exploited that to get away.
And here comes AGAL spotting out the one and only PE Sports. LBT taken down and out of the equation already. Where are the rest of the players on the side of AGAL? As I asked that Cypher, make his way in, Badu. Deadly with the M24 up on top of this bridge. Moss in hand, not activated on that active skill just yet, so he still can run away and find that quick reposition if he is pressured, but it's all out aggression from Du from the start.
This time, he is the front lines, but still on the snipe. But as we look into BTR, they're challenging the previous champion of Southeast Asia. We have WAG, and Dam79 is deadly from the hands of Wang M.
Let's see, my friend. WAG not keeping away secrets from us at this point of time. We've seen all of their secrets exposed. The problem is, I'm not liking what we saw, man. EWC, and for some reason, they could not unleash what they did at the grand finals of our previous season. PLS1 flying away. The tags are there on his back. He's at risk of getting taken down, but Koja does not have that follow-up, and Bigotron by Vitality just allowed them to back away.
But you know why Koja and the rest of BDR didn't take a shot? Because they still have PTSD out of that flight. Same scenario wherein they got took out one time from a launch pad. So I still have 10 teams remaining in the first 6 minutes of this match. But let's see who's going that is. From what we're looking, Team Flash might be out in Flash, plus with RRQ in the mix.
I'm not too happy that the gangsters did not live up to their names here in lobby number 1. Baal down on the ground though, not 7. Shot from afar, headshot, and the sniper of the RRQ squad has to depend on some revive here to pull him back into play. But in the meantime, can Aki get that damage in? Fuana scouted out by Dirt. Scout 98 in his hand. Flanked around by Runs as well. Okay, RRQ is about to get one in return.
Well, let's see. Puana's trying to head out, using nature as cover, but not so much of help from the rest of the squad. But Rans is just get is a rusher that you don't want to deal with. But here comes some of the players of Team Aki. I think a revive did happen in there, and will be taken out of a goddamn coming from a bay. Doesn't have to wait for reloads. It's just the distraction in here coming from the guy that made them take that shot as well as take down Dudes.
Like I said, man, flash, baby, flash. Not a flash in the pan when the season starts. Always with the flashy start. I just want to see them go all the way with the exact same consistency and fire. Like their logo, like their emblem, RRQ. About to bite the dust here if Flash goes all out. Think it's exactly what he's looking for. Backed up by Zom. They're on the hunt. Abe far, far away from the vending machine. This should be game over for Abe.
There's plenty of opportunity for them to come back, but it's even knocked down. But unfortunately, it doesn't get confirmed. So it doesn't add up to numbers that has brought in RRQ to the elimination leader. But a lot of feeds, or elimination feed, has been showing up from different part of the map. And it's PE Sports dealing with Vamos. June did manage to use a launch pad to get away, but does he survive? And that is one thing that we often see some fail, but I guess it's a little too quick, as well as with PE Sports being forced by the zone. They might be able to go for the chase, but will they fall for that trap?
Once again taken out of the equation, but Rand is on that high ground with the AWM in hand. They're very focused on taking Dudes out of the equation, and that just could put them in the crosshairs of the RRQ sniper that's right behind them. But he needs to win out a couple of gunfights up against Nan7, who has that charge buster tagged up from afar, and PLS1 sorts it out before Nan7 can get close.
Hell, here comes the challenger of AGAL, dealing with Team Flash. It's a 2v3 situation now as ABCD are now on the ground. Alpha King will not be taking that throne for the moment. And here comes Side Personal. And
oh, beauty!
It doesn't work. It's a god. Downtown takes a shot and down.
Hate to be right, but in this situation, it's all up to the god who has been on fire so far. Quadra on the eliminations. Can he penetrate through those glue walls? Has got the Moss, and the stealth bites will potentially help him reposition. But it's the players of WAG that may just pose a tad bit of trouble as the final survivor of Flash looks for a vending machine. AGAL right behind them. And WAG, as expected, Neptune flying right back in. A 1-for-1 on the knock there, but instant recovery from both sides. Lightning zone called out by Gao. Just over the place on the side of PE. As they quickly rotate around. They totally missed the positioning of Siege1, and this could just be the difference maker here for PE Sports. Yes, the flank is on for Gao, and yes, they do have the M79 in hand as well. When Pichu gets a tad bit closer, those nades are going to be dropped onto the players on the side of Gao, and that splash damage should make it a tad bit easier for Gao to take PE out of the equation. LBG with the shot, and what a follow-up there by Benep. And that's a double knockdown for PE. As Gao tried to take the fight against them, but that turned around way too quick because of the positioning supremacy of the veteran squad here in the engagement, PE Sports.
See if they'll be able to take down C-Wheel, as Revive already came in, and because of vending machine that's very close in Shipyard, but that's the drive journey past this area, past this blue zone. We are seeing Secret WAG, and they're dealing with a few players that just came back from Revive.
I've got that bundle on. But WAG in the battle up against Gao. PE Sports jumping back in here as well. A three-way Vietnam is civil war about to break out on Bullseye.
Oh, what? As we look into the horizon, we're seeing a couple of teams coming from Malaysia who might be able to throw them off. But also, there's BTR very close. But as we continue in this fight of PE Sports and WAG, Takeaway might be in trouble in the and himself, throwing it as if he stole it. And now, Siege1 for the finisher. But the backstab out of the final player from Gao Esports. Will he risk it, making that shot, getting that elimination, or just force it in circle to get placement points?
Esports looking really strong. WAG, great vantage point here. Double FGL shots, but Wang wants to respond with the M79. Does he get the nade shots? Nero needs to get taken out of the equation here. He's the one annoying them mainly with all of these spokes, but a double glue wall just to set up that launch pad so that they can quickly reposition for the next circle. PE Sports does manage to whack them from the back, though. WAG losing player after player after trying to get away from that compound.
But unfortunately, the WAG has been eliminated already. PE Sports 1 taking the lead, and this is because of that battle from the north, and also it did help that they took down players from Gao as well as some of the players from Secret WAG, but AJL now making their way in the high ground. That makes them even deadlier, especially when the snipes on do. But is this worth it to deal with the blue for the moment, as some of the teams are still gathering up in compounds that leaves AGAL nowhere to land, nowhere to position themselves. But this might be part of the plan. They're just chasing out on some of the players, some of the teams on the edges.
And Gao is out. Esports Putrajaya in a little bit of a pickle here. Kenshin gets naded down.
Oh.
Beautiful nades out of PE Sport. Kenshin back up, but Raja gets taken down one after the other. But PE just moves on in and makes sure those pickups do not continue. 15 eliminations in hand already, but they are being pressured by Vamos, who saw that entry, tried the third party from far away. Vamos can't chase because they have got spot for the next circle, and therefore PE Sports gets to survive a little longer.
Yeah, one thing that surprised me for the side of AP or Esports with Jaya was a gap that they have in there for the glue walls to make those nades go through, as well as players from PE to push themselves without even breaking down the glue wall and giving more time for recovery. Now, as we look at the rest of the squad, the Team Aki makes that jump as the zone closes in, but not too close to BTR that they can be taken down, but it doesn't give them any shot. And one's coming from Fawarak, took down one, as well as another from Team Aki. And this is aggression that we want to see out of this Thailand team.
That's what happens when you hit an air ball, when you try for the three-pointer. Double Riptide Rhythm getting absolutely nothing, and Aki brought the fire. But PE Sports now, after that pressure that they brought upon Flash earlier on, I guess that battle came to a unfortunate end for the Flashy squad. But now as PE forced out of defenses by the Malaysian squad of Vamos. Vamos about to be pressured by the circle, and PE tries to respond in kind with the glue wall melters, making sure they can't sit steady for too long. They have to either take the fight up against Vietnam or Thailand in this setup, but Aki taking shots at PE Sports at the same time. Fuwara too close to the Vietnamese squad. Riptide Rhythm hits far behind PE. Benem almost gets taken down, but he survives. He still has the glue walls.
Oh, what a move in there coming from PE Sports. They were almost being taken down, and they still managed to survive. And Vamos is one of those who have the advantage overall because they have more cover compared to the other squad. But Team Aki, though, the flank coming from Fawarak made them distract PE Sports for a little bit longer. So everyone's saving each other in here, but no one's saving them out of the shift up the circle. And it's a three-way battle that's going across everyone. And I'm loving that the 2-2 split from this squad in terms of attention is really trying to make them serve longer, but not for PE Sports, especially if this is confirmed.
A big shot there from Leong. He did manage to get a knock onto the PE Sports players, but the distraction from Vamos prevented them from continuously focusing their fire to get the elimination. Now they pull out a monster truck as defense for themselves, understanding that Vamos is going to be using that for their rotation. PE Sports still on the pressure. They call out yet another monster truck, this time to block off the shots from PE if they tried for the backstab. Riptide Rhythm breaks down the defenses of PE, but maybe Aki used that one a little bit too early.
Well, let's see. They can use that monster truck, but will they be able to break through? And they did manage to go and reset. A potential for a takedown, but the shot go in, and PE Sports is now in the lead. But Vamos also run through them. PE Sports will be taking this first booyah out of this team, and only West since the contention. It's 1v3, and Sichuan can land its final shot, but LPT and they managed to take it, and PE Sports the first booyah of the day.
Damn, bro, you do not run at the alpha. You do not run against the team that has been cooking it all. A high number of eliminations from them, just like that match number one there.
But as we look in Delta Isle, we have Hard Q going against Gao Esports, and Rans already on his way to spot out a couple, if not three, of the players out in here who's standing into the battlefield trying to loot up. But Gao, that makes Rans, though, as a target because he hasn't loot up so much. But the good thing that he has quick reflexes to be able to bring in those glue walls and also wait for the rest of the squad to set them up.
And the battle is a tad bit slow here, neither one wanting to aggress here, Delta Isle. So question is, can you position yourself in a spot where you can pull away those revives quick, like what Wasana just did? Quick fingers will make sure your team continues to rotate in here. Buriram facing Aki very early on, and you might just get your prediction on point here, unless Buriram comes in for a little bit of a revenge mission up against Aki in a little bit.
Well, let's see. We do have one player from Team Aki in an insurance policy, just in case they falter, and they're not faltering just yet. But that's though great on that Riptide rhythm as well as a follow-up with SKS. And he is going solo right now. Up close and personal. Cypher will deal the final blow. It's AGAL who managed to end him. And it's not the first team that they dealt with earlier on the drop. But a lot has been pulled in. The same goes for Team Flash. So that storyline will still continue for Delta Isle.
Situan going to be caught out by Kyong here. Mag 7 up close and personal. The sniper will stand no chance whatsoever. Yes, caught a tad bit uncomfortable in a situation he could not take control of. And big turn of vitality will definitely win. No big repercussions for not showing up consistently here for teams like RRQ. They're definitely the monsters, and their big games are massive enough for a big jump up the leaderboard. But Aki, on the other hand, will have to be careful because that revenge mission that we talked about is definitely here. Leong now inside the time turner together with Wasana, those shotguns. But pulls out the double revolver of everything else. Leong does have a big advantage here with the M1014. That is great in range as well as damage. And the double revolvers almost gets the job done with the backstab. And here comes the 2v1 and the elimination of the revenge mission, I have to say, completed by Buriram.
But this one squad really that they might have been familiar of, coming in from the same region.
Esports Putrajaya up against PE Esports. Two esports squads clashing, one from Vietnam, one from Malaysia. Bedeb almost taken down, calls for backup. Ryu tagged up here by C2 LBT pushing forward, looking for Mikacha. That nade will do nothing to the players on the side of PE Esports as LBT pulls out the Trogon, looking for two players, but making sure he does not make a mistake. Ryu runs straight into him. LBT gets the knock, and C2 responds from afar, taking down Ryu as well as Raja. And PE Sports a 2-for-2 so far on the knockdown, but they still have an opportunity to pull their players back onto their feet. As I say that, they run out of that, and LBT hits the double revive and also gatekeeps the vending machine.
But here comes Gangster.
That they perhaps can shoot you off the roof, and then when they've gotten far away from the cover, bring out that lightning zone. That in technicality was a waste of coins on the side of Gangsters, but they still do manage to pick up a total of 2 elimination points at the very start. They've got a vending machine here, so nothing much lost except valuable resources in
their
coins.
slow pace as they head into each face of the circle. AGAL though, is a different story. They want to deal with more from distance, from up close, especially with Nameless and Cypher. And Valiant Nash, as well as a Charge Buster, takes down Cypher, and the rest of the squad from AGAL forcing of that run. So will they be able to make it? Because vehicles as well as slide rails make it difficult to get away.
Barros with a shot from afar, managing to find a connection onto Zom. Riptide Rhythm going to be breaking on his defenses as well, but Zom has got the Mag 7 on him. Barros cannot charge on fourth, and Minggu will find him from afar with a car. And in the meantime, the super reviver of the squad, the super sniper, gets the triple revive and the headshot onto Zom from far away. Can he find the finisher as well? Minggu trying to find the flank, trying to look for the player on the side of AGAL who can definitely take on the full squad if they're not careful. You have to be really careful with that, especially when for so many teams alive and kicking as we enter minute number 8. The Zom right out in the open. Barros. Advantage or disadvantage? Here comes the rest of the Flash players as well. 3v1. Bye-bye, Barros, we can say.
Yeah, Barros will be barred for the moment. But Team Flash, they have invited an unexpected party from the hands of Secret WAG. And you can see that jump from PLS1 as T Kui and the rest of the squad is distracting them. Triggers that Stealth bites back, and now they are together. Not 7 with M79. Holy lands for a knockdown, but that minigun is stopping them from forcing themselves, and Team Flash is the ones winning this battle with a Valiant Nash. ABCD remains the Alphabet King.
Yeah, WAT just did not know exactly what the plan was going to be like there. They could only think of saving their sniper, but instead, if they had just put themselves on the opposite end, then they could have pincered their opponents.
I guess a little bit too early to ask for that. AGAL, though, being challenged by Gao Esports and Goku. Well, they didn't have that Riptide rhythm, but Dude knows exactly what needs to be done. And Demon, though, fires away, distract a couple of players to save Dude for the moment. But Barros, the first one who goes down once again, and no response yet out of AGAL. So even a split that we often see is a mistake for a squad is being capitalized on by Gao Esports.
Team that looks so impressive on the global final stage as well as EWC. Placing on the podium on both the competitions. Taken out a tad bit too early here on our map number 2. Beautiful nade from down at the bottom. MDET looking for yet another one. Tosses it in. And it's the Kobe, bro. It's the three-pointer. MDET does not get the knockdowns, but he definitely has the follow-up power there. As Spin continues to clean up house. Gangsters are showing us a little bit of that spirit. And they've got the vending machine right behind them for the easy revive onto Sanjit.
They'll have to deal with 7 teams in this 12 minute of this fight. Team Flash, though, meeting with Team Vamos with June and Overwatch. He didn't expect the God to be on the flank, and that is where the slide rails come into the picture. June, though, very little chance of being picked up, but the rest of the squad can still fight it off as the blue closes in. It pressures Team Flash as well.
Oh, beautiful thrill of battle pop that the A124 used. And that's how you need to use it, right? Just like the lightning zone comment we made earlier on. You don't pop the thrill of battle immediately. You got to wait for that opportune moment. And they knew Vamos was getting a tad bit too cocky there. Went in there for the pop. Zuez now right behind the defenses. The God's going to go in looking for him. But WAG keeping the players on the side of Flash a little bit entertained. Damn it, I got my prediction swapped out in the first 2 games.
Yeah, Team Flash right now on fire. I guess they learned something out of the previous game, the previous match, wherein they really popped off a little bit too early and then dwindled down towards the end. But it's WAG right now who is in trouble, bringing trouble to Team Vamos, and they might be able to take him down, steal it away from Team Flash, and there goes Vamos being eliminated. We still have 5 teams remaining with on the feet as well. We've seen Brave United deal with some of the stragglers as they are very close to the next phase of the circle, waiting for this engagement to end, or probably just taking their time so that they can steal all those elimination. Team Flash and Secret WAG might be in trouble in a bit.
Let's see if or not WAG can survive this intense situation outside the circle. Wang Am going in for a super late revival here. Tikui holding the fort. Wang Am double revive, waiting for Tikui, telling Tikui, bro, just do it. Drop now. I need to revive you. Moshi helps them out. Is there a revival though? Oh, looks like that is not going to be a revival. Nan7 shot out of the air. Wang Am now figuring out how can he get back in here. PLS one shot out as well. WAG will not get those extra survival points through the late revives.
Hell, look at the numbers of Brave United. They have elimination already, Jonah, with his liver of health. But recovery is being done before the next zone catches up. BTR is also very close. But they did lose one of the players, and they can be the challenger in here if they can equalize the number. But Tankster in the horizon, just waiting for everything to unfold. But the God Day coming from Koja to take down Moshi. And all they have to do is just push and bring them down, take them down one at a time. And they're doing just that.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes Koja, has got the M79 in hand, but Wasana's been knocked down already, so they do not need the range of those nades at this point of time. But they're getting their defenses broken down, though. Koja will have to make use of the M79 before it's that bit too late. Kyong whacking from the outside, M590. Beautiful jump and bank with the pressure from the AWM from afar. Great flank, and they will smash Buriram, leaving the final survivor out there with no choice whatsoever but to succumb to their pressure. 3 more players left here on the side of Bigatron, going up against the Gangsters. This is exactly what we needed to see out of the Gangsters. The hotshots who have made it here for the first time. Can they walk away with the booyah on Solara?
Well, if this M79 shot lands, and it did land on Sajid, but not taking him down, the rest of the squad, though, is just on the way, like Lao Ho on the edge, and they still manage to go for a recovery. Kojao, though, is in trouble. Kyung quite far, and Lao Ho from downtown. And this is Gangsters pushing themselves to the limit. And Kyo's the only one that they need to deal with in the moment in this boulder that they have as cover. And Zipengo's also being dealt with up close and personal from long range. It doesn't matter. Gangsters is going to beat them down and probably, yes, definitely get that booyah.
This is a ferocious version of Gangster once again. Literally picking up gangsters from across multiple squads, throwing it into one team, and looking to see if or not they can dominate. They've got the veteran power. And MDET is actually Death that we have seen played in Gao Esports Neptune. We've got Lauho in there as well. Again, definitely not freshies out there in terms of...
Team Aki faltered already after that first game. Their engagement will be paused for a moment, and also a little bit of glimpse of AJAL from the horizon. But now, heading into Central, we are seeing RRQ and Gangsters, and will Gangsters be able to gangster their way in this fight?
Ma'al, beautiful shot with a sliver of health left on him, but MDET was in the right place, right time to get that counter shot. Sanchez now dropped down to the ground already. It's a 1-for-2, and Ma'al's been picked right back up. So Gangster's not in a good spot right now in terms of health. Here comes Abe falling in like the god of death, but the mini Uzi will not find the connection. Sanchez trying to back away. The min too low on HP. Abe desperately trying to look for one, and he will have the follow-up alongside Dudes. And RRQ will show the Gangsters exactly who the gangsters of this little playground are.
No, getting a little bit of pressure out of Abe and Rans, and Maalo needs to deal with death. Mini Uzi in hand, switch to an XM8, and as the battle continues, Death will not survive. The backstab, as well as the help from the rest of the squad, brings this squad to their knees, and RRQ gets 4 elimination.
MDET used to be known as Death, but I guess it sounds like that. MDET. You know, I'm dead. Right? So
I am
so I understand. Now, after a long time, I understood what you were trying to say earlier, because I was like, what is Neptune trying to convey to me? But I totally get it now, Neptune. Sorry for my very slow brain.
No, I mean, you might be expecting a dad joke.
AEL takes out the final player from the side of FE Esports. And that's what I mean. Like,
You just wait for the perfect opportunity, and it goes with that skill the conversation that we were jumping into, as well as that Volt Maker. It needs the perfect timing for you to be able to pull this off. And this battle also needs one of those, but they have us surrounding them for the moment.
We always said the time turner was a great insurance policy, but you also got to make sure your policy can sustain your lifespan. But he also wasn't too quick on his feet to get away from those shots. So a tad bit unfortunate. AGAL back to the aggressive ways, and Cypher almost gets sniped out with the backup. What in the world? I did not even see that shot coming through. Bigatron by Vitality have bowed out as well.
And that's one thing I didn't expect, but I'm really loving this kind of situation. And as I said earlier, they might not be given a cruel flight path, but the way everyone's treating it as if they are always being chased by the zone, which I'm loving the pace right now. But Gao Esports, despite of Goku on the ground, or Demon on the ground, Goku goes in for that turnaround and brings down aggressive Getna.
Oh, beautiful Goku. I mean, gets pressured by 2 players, almost suffers the God nade out of Getna's hands, but unfortunately, Getna will not be able to get the perfect aims, and instead, the squad gets annihilated. Evidence in the firepower behind Vietnam at the very start here of our group stage.
Oh, well, it looks like trouble, and this is what we're talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The moment that the battle in Brasilia between the 2 Malaysian team was about to set off. Team Flash can capitalize on this, and great position, great communication as well to funnel one item machine. And does he even have enough coins for revive, or will he just be waiting it out until the next phase of the circle?
Absolutely, man. It's a tad bit unfortunate that the Vamos player just got outnumbered there in that situation. But of course, on the flip side of things, it was a great setup by the aggressors. WAG though, now on that lower ground, Cypher, shots from afar. WAG, the rest of their players down on that lower ground with you now looking for the flag. but he's just gonna get run over there. Here comes Nameless for the backup as T Queen does not get a quick drive-by. Instead, he drives to his death. Grounded, Nan7 dropped as well. Due now, long flank, looking for the final shot onto Wang Am, finds the first, finds the second! And AGAL back to their hunting ways.
Well, if you can recognize a pattern of position coming from AGAL, oh yeah, that's what we love. A little bit of flair in there after a finisher, and Du is some guy that didn't expect that can pull that off.
I mean, it's 7 in that engagement, man. Du was just too good. Just 5 steps ahead of his opponents at all times with those flanks. And that definitely paid off to bring that engagement to a quick end. But now Esports Putrajaya, after trying to bully their brothers from Malaysia, Vamos, they are now meeting the Vietnam Predators. Flash looking for yet another flashy display of their aggression. Mikacha will be the final one here. ABCD catching up with him, but perhaps Mikacha is that sacrificial lamb. It's a 2v1 here. In fact, the rest of the players from the side of Flash all collapsing in, and Mikacha stood no chance in that engagement.
Oh, Team Flash already getting a lot. 7 eliminations out of this engagement, and it's not given any chance. A couple of players did manage to pull away, but Raja, though, is in trouble as he is waiting for an opportunity to get away from the Axel. But here comes the rest of the squad from Esports Putrajaya. Hopefully Kenshin, though, is just in a getaway mission as Raja is providing them a little bit of distraction.
Absolutely. Ooh, double Riptide Rhythm. Raja. Oh, footwork could not save him. Didn't get far away enough from the radius of that Riptide Rhythm to bring out at least one glue wall to save his life. The Min is going to lose his defenses. Mdet and Sanjit's going to be aggressed on by the players on the side of RRQ. Abe, beautiful double jump shots taking Sanjit's down. Abe looking for yet another, and it's going to be Mdet breaking down 2 glue walls with his Valiant Dash. Looking for the third one on the M590, and Abe is on a roll.
Abe putting them at bay, and let's see if they can check. Full health has been reduced, and nowhere to go out for Mikasa being caught off guard as battle continues between them and Vamos. But Esports Putrajaya might be safe for a moment because that hit list is now set for a different squad. And see if they can survive. Unfortunately, Lao Ho gets eliminated. Sniper, will he be able to at least push Esports Putrajaya into the next phase of the circle? There's a risk of third party, but there goes a shot of Ma'al. Was not expected to be in a small compound, but here comes the rescue, and it might not be able to work because RRQ is dealing with them from CQC and long range. They had no way out.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ set up with Barros and Dew both having the AWM. There's a high chance Dew has got the M82B as well. As I say that, he does whip that sniper out. ABCD, the rest of the Flash players are going to be pressured by their brothers from Vietnam. Pichu, beautiful nade, but unfortunately it means nobody on the side of Flash.
Well, Flash right now, they need to be patient because they won't want to step out open, especially with RRQ in there. The RRQ dealing damage on Gao Esports, and Team Flash was just kept safe by 2 different squad, AJL and RRQ. The ABCD being tagged up. FGL action onto them, not really phasing them at the moment, and they did manage to take down one of the players, but stolen by AGAL.
Yeah, RRQ thought they were going to be the alpha in the final circle, but they're very quickly finding out that AGAL has got the exact same idea as well. Now here comes Nameless, has got the trip mine in hand. Does he want to lay it out on top of the roof, or does he want to take the fight straight up? Drops down and gets shut down instead by C-Will. And the shot with the Kar 98 straight to the head. Flash now stacking the upper floor. Gao will get taken out by AGAL, but the numbers have been thinned down here and the damage has been set in. Flash needs to take advantage right now before AGAL recovers, but too late. They did get locked down by the thrill of battle, but that was a premature move from Flash, and now pressured by the Riptide Rhythm and the grenades, but they reposition beautifully outside the radius with their glue walls, and they still stay alive.
I'm loving the position that's being taken, or the rush that's being taken by Team Flash right now. They're anticipating that Barros is due, so they're trying to isolate the sniper, but they didn't know that Du is on the other side. So Barros just baited them out of that compound, of that rotation, and the rest of AGAL is now thinning their herd, clearing them out. But the same goes with the blue, breaking down the defenses of AGAL. So Nameless, will he be able to survive and probably get away from a shot of the god? Here comes the flag. Here comes the help coming from Du, and a rain of fire or rain of ice in there, plus a finisher with enemy to 2B might be what Du has to do at the moment, and the two-way push will not last that long. There goes AGAL for the booyah.
A 10 bomber by one of
2026 Spring FFWS, or whether it happens in the Summer Invitational, or whether it's the EWC, AG Global, always end up getting...
Looking at the flight path as well as where everyone is dropping, there's a little bit of battle in Plazaria and something that we may expect as well in Intellect Center. And who's losing the fight? It's Team Flash right now. And Plazaria, you know, the buildings that we have in here can give more of vantage point out of Du, as well as most of the elevation can be taken as information spots for AGAL. But now, as Barros will be revived, they can continue on for the fight. But I don't think Team Flash managed to pull off all revive in there, only for one. But it's good enough. But Ming, though, needs to survive for them to recover quite well in looting up.
Yeah, Ming needs to survive for just a few more seconds, but I don't think AG Global will let him do that at all. They've got him surrounded. No escape. His only possible source of redemption over here could be a third party coming in and distracting AG away from him so that he can get away. But it seems like he's been spotted. The Riptide Rhythm comes through, and there goes the knock. Another one bites the dust. Meanwhile, back in Intellect Center, we've got the gangsters facing off Bigatron by Vitality.
Letting AGAL get away.
Yep, so almost need to get that res, but AGL are getting in their way. Meanwhile, Buriram are getting in the way of Secret WAG, and one of them is already getting away. Tikoi goes down, and the last one also goes down to Juena. Lovely use of the throwables. Can he get PLS mid-air? Oh my god, that was so close. That could have been another elimination in the pocket of Buriram for the time being, but they need to get back in cover because Flash have also arrived in the vicinity. Wasana moving left and right on the zip lines, dealing enough damage to ABCD, forcing him to use those glue walls. They do not want to commit to another fight without their full forces.
I think the priority for Buriram United right now, especially with the siren that we're hearing as a closing from first to second, is to get position on each face of the circle. Not really get so much of elimination. But AGAL, though, 5 elimination already, and dealing with Vamos as they reel them in. But the far back coming from Suez was not enough. An MP5 from Nameless, making him putting up a name in the board right now for the guy. But as we switch over to the battle of Team Aki against BTR, I think this is a battle from Intellect Center that keeps continuing, but reset, not even face VSK to the
trouble at one point, but now look at them. They've got 9 eliminations already. It seems like the team substitution has worked out greatly in their favor. Bigatron were trying to hunt them down, but they've not really had a good time so far. Meanwhile, back in Zipway, you got GOW taking on EP, but they've got that knock on Kenshin.
Well, as they did engage against Gangster, so they might just be waiting for that battle to unfold and then capitalize on it. But on the other side, Mortar Ruins, we have Team Aki. Again, this time around, going against Gao Esports.
Oh my god, and Team Aki are getting destroyed. Gao Esports really just taking them to the chopping block. Leong trying to get away. He has some distance between himself and Pichu, but I don't think he can escape any further, and he will run into PE Sports, so he's trapped in between a rock and a hard place. The best that he can hope for is that all the members of GOW rush him down inside that compound one by one. Or better yet, that they get distracted by Sichuan and they focus on him instead. Oh, and that's exactly what's happened. Sichuan starts shooting at Pichu, and they haven't really discovered Leong yet. This could be the best case scenario for Leong. The fact that he gets ignored over here is the only out for him. Otherwise, he's dead meat. Sichuan getting sniped from afar, getting rushed by Demon and Pichu both at the same time. He really did not stand much of a chance. And now PE Sports realize that, hey, sending out a player, even though he's alone, is a decent enough decision because they still have access to the zipway vending machine.
Him from above. Demon, though, well, deadly on a sniper, AWM, even up close and personal, he can pull off that swing. But going to Deca Square, we still have a battle of AGAL and Team Vamos, and Barros, though, being left behind. The rest of the squad teleports in to the major area of this compound. They're starting to lose out onto the fight. They do have a vending machine that's close to them, but is this enough, or do they have the coins to bring teammates back, or will Vamos eliminate them out of this fight because they're playing outside the zone as well?
Oh. Nameless getting hunted by Israel and Zeus. He's got so much damage. Dew needs to jump in here and help him out, and he does. Lovely shot onto Zeus right through the window. And that is how you save your teammates from danger. Another one onto Israel. Dew doesn't care if he's a sniper. He will get up in your faces and pull a bullet right between your eyes. Oh! Almost got the rest. He did.
It's a champions bundle with everything in it together with a pecker.
Oh my god, Nameless. Yep, I mean, Bruna might have the bundle, but right now, Nameless is the one who's getting all the glory. Boldly rushing in towards the 4 members of PE Sports. Yes, sure, he can't pull off that 1v4 in such close range, but he will still not stop. And now PE Sports take their next target. Axel gets shot down by Bidet. Lovely shot on the zipline itself. Cypher also gets eliminated. It seems like Vamos versus Team AGAL was third party. Majority of water in the circle. Everybody is gonna be looking for cover. Right now, they're all safe, but I can't say that they will be safe in just a couple of moments. Meanwhile,
it's a rare occurrence. As you mentioned, the water circle. It's a rare occurrence that we see this kind in next era, but I do agree. It would be troublesome for them. It's a good thing the shift pulls away from the river, but no one's pulling away from this engagement of Team Flash and GAWI Sports. Vietnam knows exactly where the rotation of each team from their same region is, so they are cautious as well.
Well, for these teams, it's rather good. All of them are in the circle right now, and all of them have their own compounds as well. So while there will be plenty of long-range eliminations and knocks, I don't believe that there will be a full send until the zone forces one of these teams out of it. However, for teams like GOW and Flash Esports, they will have no choice but to get inside. Even AG Global, for that matter, just moments after I say that there will be no full send, they decide to prove me wrong, and now they're knocking on the doors of RRQ. But do they know that Esports Putrajaya is also right there on the top floor? Surely they must have used the binoculars. Surely that they must know that there will be so many people. But did they know that PE Sports will also try and help him out? RRQ lose most of their members in one single nade, but mass revives are in queue. They're using all their Tivas and getting their players back up on their feet. RRQ have recovered from that massive loss. Meanwhile, Esports Putrajaya are also taking pot shots at Flash Esports, who will now be forced to leave their compound. ABCD takes flight. He will not land. Neither will the rest of his teammates. And that is AG Global as well as PE Sports. All of them literally focusing all their fire on Flash Esports. And in Flash, they get eliminated.
Yeah, Team Flash was just BTR'd right there. Launchpad directly in a better angle that can be used by AGAL to their advantage. But BTR is now trying to bring down AGAL, but no! What a reversal! That throw gun from Barros was deadly, and they are still a full squad. I didn't expect that to happen. This is why we have them on our prediction, because they are in a good run right now, motivated after that booyah.
Yeah, 100%. They are so motivated right now that nothing seems to stop them. Goku, wow, he's going berserk right now. Seabill also helps him out. And that's Secret WAG, the defending champions, out of this game. GOW also, though, having gotten so many eliminations outside the zone, will also succumb under the pressure, leaving us with our top 3 teams. 4 to be thirded right now. But Esports Putrajaya also want a piece of the pie. They're really not doing much except for shooting down the members of RRQ. Barrow steals that frag away with the Rosa, and Getna finally makes it work. Buriram wipe out P Esports and they capture the gas station compound.
I'm loving the situation, loving the position of being taken by Brim earlier after the pickup on Jonah that led PE Sports to think that no one will be challenging them, and they became complacent, focusing on the other teams. But now, AGA is the one being focused on, and Riptide Rhythm taking Moshi and Jonah down. Only Getna remains, and far away for revive. And there goes Cypher for the finisher with M590, but giving way for Esports Putrajaya to pull away from that compound and manage with the shift. With 3 teams remaining, make that 2 teams remaining. AGAL just needs another team to eliminate, and they will get to the back-to-back.
The Malaysian champions looking to go up against AG Global. The king that was denied their crown 3 times in a row now looks to get their second booyah in a row. Monster Trucks called in, but it doesn't seem like AG Global need that anymore. They're running circles around Esports Putrajaya. And look at that, they're going around the Monster Truck trying to board inside, while Kenshin is the only person left alone over here. He's gonna get rushed by all 4. Oh, poor Kenshin. You better run faster than AG Global's gun. All 4 of them chasing you, but it seems like he's getting away for now. And AG Global take the compound instead. Now it's gonna force Esports Putrajaya to go in with the urban assault, but they're just surrounding the compound. They're trying to get the angles onto Nameless, but he's not giving them anything to work with. Once again, it's going to be up to Kenshin to find the angles, to find the opening so that his teammates can make the play that they so desperately need to. But AG Global, they've got the high ground, they've got the numbers, they've got all the resources they need. Everything to turn this into a second booyah, but maybe Kenshin will deny them. Knock onto Peros. Doesn't matter because he's res back up instantly. With so much room to work with, Esports Putrajaya have converged all of AG Global into one single compound. Now can they pull the trigger and finish the job?
Well, Esports Putrajaya needs to be patient because the zone will be closing in a bit, and with position coming from Kenji, he might be able to take shots at them as they jump out from that rooftop. But it's smart from AGAL as well because it's only 2 left in here to provide a little bit of damage against Kenshin, who is a distraction, but Cypher tries to rush into Mikasa, but Esports Putrajaya just positioned themselves quite well, and with the glue wall being laid in, it saves them from the drop, and they might be able to go for that ring around the Rosie. But with some skills being set up by Esports Putrajaya, this might be an opportunity for them for the medallion dash, and there goes Ryu for the push, but unfortunately, no takedown, and Barrow's Drogon beat them down one at a time, but trade is happening. And it is now a 3v3, and Kenshin is still in position, leaving the rest of EP behind. Nameless, though, will be dealing with them, and it's a 1v2 between Mikasa and 2, and Nameless will not take this sitting down, forcing him outside of the circle, and a back-to-back from AGAL.
Back-to-back booyahs. Utter dominance. Let's jump into the penultimate game of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Match number 5. We're heading to the dusty dunes of Kalahari.
Well, going against RRQ, which they should expect right here. The only question, though, is will they win this fight?
RRQ, stubborn as ever, not gonna relinquish Refinery no matter who they're up against. Esports Putrajaya, while this might be one of their first times on such a big stage, they are not afraid of going up against the top dogs. They get the knock onto Rans, and hold on, Maal saves the day. Lovely double elimination from him, and Abaya is here to get those trades. Esports Putrajaya, they really thought that they should be able to get the upper hand and the last member back.
There's one thing, though. I mean, Kenshin can hide out, and there you have it. In hit list that has been triggered, so that gives information for RQ that he's still in Refinery. But as we go into battle P Sports against Vamos, June has good position in Overwatch, but look at the spread from the rest of Vamos, and they can be easily targeted by PE Sports, who's gathering up before going for that push. 2 down already, and that gives an opportunity for June to jump out, but survive is a different story. But speaking of surviving, Gangsters didn't survive that long, being eliminated as well, so 2 teams already out of contention out of the 12 that we introduced in this game.
eliminated. Even though one of their players survived the first encounter, they couldn't survive the pressure of the rest of the lobby. Now, Biggitron, I want to see what they can do because Team Flash, they've got plenty of flanking angles onto Kyong as well as Deeks, but the one saving grace that can probably rescue Biggitron is going to be Seabank. He's coming in from behind, and as of now, Flash do not know about his position.
Ooh.
So even though they're getting the shots onto Deeks and Kyong, they might just be able to survive. Hold on, though. All three of the Biggitron players go down.
Cord or probably an M60, and he can deal with those glue walls to clear the path for the snipers. But speaking of snipers, there's Demon as well as June.
The guy who's been just brought back into the game looks for his spray, looks to eliminate PE Sports. His card is blown up. His HP is dwindling, and so is his hope of survival. Can he keep the hope alive for his team? No! Biggitron beats them
with Team Aki, but they're not the only ones. RRQ is also on the hunt. Did manage to take down Leong.
They should be able to find an isolated battle over here, but Flash have absolutely no interest in staying around. Zom escapes. ABCD will stay back to cover the retreat, but that puts him in a nearly unwinnable situation, so let's see how much longer he can hold on to his life. All he needs to do is hold on for a couple of seconds because the third party for Biggitron is here. Abai puts up the glue wall. They both dash right past each other, forcing each other to 180. Kyong wins the duel. Deeks with the M590 lands another shot onto Rands. Even Ducks loses a life against Kura. Wow, Biggitron are wiping the floor without RQ, leaving only one player alive. They've gotten away.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, Flash did get away, but they became the distraction to get Ma'al. Fine rotations out of the team. Ending this first circle, heading into our second. As we look into the map right now, they're still spread out. Not so much of contention in most of the compound. I think most of the contention has been dealt with already, other than Foundation, where Team Aki is trying to recover, and that's where the next phase will be coming in.
So while Team Aki is trying speed sports, they had absolutely no remorse. Reset versus Maal, the force 1v1. Maal comes out on top. He's been on fire with that Shogun, hasn't he? Him and Abai, both of them have been doing really well. But the Riptide Rhythm will force Maal onto the other side. Leong and Fuwara closing in on him. Can he force the 1v1? Yes, he can. Gets the isolated fight onto Leong. Has enough time to reset his health. But he will force the battle again against Fuwara. Nameless.
Keepers that we often see going solo right there. When the player goes against him, a CQC, he couldn't really fight back. But now he managed to really impress on how they adjust or made the adjustment in terms of their position. But the ones who introduced themselves against Team Aki after taking down Maal, AGAL wants to get more, and Fix was taken down with Dew's hit.
Yeah, Dew had his crosshairs fixed on him, but I'm not worried about Dew right now. I'm really worried about Rans. He's getting pushed by Deeks. What? Abai shoots him down, protects Rans over there, and he gets one more. Seabing taken down as well. Kyong now desperate to stay alive, and all of a sudden, while Biggitron were pushing the attack, now they find themselves on the back foot. He has no way of surviving. He's cornered. This exact same thing happened. And that is what RRQ were missing up until now. Maybe this could finally be the chance that they can recover. But back in Refinery, you've got Buriram Esports scaling up. They've got control of the Spire, and now they've taken control of the Dish building as well. Decoy jumps up there, gets Joanna up close. Excuse me? Finally, Vasana comes through and avenges his teammate, but Nan does the exact same thing. Everybody wants to fight on the satellite dish. And look at that dash, breaking through the glue walls. Vasana isolating those fights, but Decoy finally puts him down. It takes massive guts to jump up there.
Yeah, I do agree. And it's a masterclass that WAG is showing up right there. Because most of the time, if you have your teammates knocked down, you get distracted, try to pick them up. But what Secret WAG did is they punished the ones who brought down Wong M and then slowly delivered some. And recovery as well, or the pickup was prioritized in that few moments. Half a second is needed, especially with the Tiva. And now they are a full squad that can deal with the players of Buriram United. And speaking of timing, they did pull out the Bolt Maker that can put Buriram United in their knees. But I think I spoke too soon. Ketna and Moshi is that one factor, two factor that they didn't expect can be the bane to their existence, and they didn't exist for this game anymore.
Bigatron Esports, massive clutch revive by using that vending machine. And also, Vamos helped them out by eliminating the last player of WAG. But now Vamos want to take down Buriram themselves. Zeus gets the first knock, June with the second, and they once again got Buriram Esports on the run. Getna wants to get towards that vending machine room, but he just simply cannot do that. June
Next phase, compared to the rest of the squad that might be jumping in and can be an easy target for those who are waiting.
Ooh, Vamos Esports finding the flash. That's amazing. Israel tries to get up on the high ground. Zeus also jumps up, but Mink has their number. He's ready to welcome anybody who gets up there, and he's using the grappling hook to dodge all his opponents. Greatly escapes below, and now he's going to force Flash to drop down. And while these guys are busy fighting each other, Buriram Esports have control over the refinery vending machine again, so they can probably bring their teammates back. But nope, as soon as I say that, Dutch gets down Joanna. So it seems like Buriram Esports are not out of the woods just yet. But the Flash versus Vamos battle is dragging on for a bit too long. Keep in mind that if Vamos get down towards that warehouse, they will have also access to one of the vending machines. So they need to wrap up this fight quickly because this circle is about to shrink. And if you don't have a spot in the zone by the time the circle continues shrinking, you will be shot upon by everybody.
Yeah, speaking of shrink, that would be the trouble for most of the team. We still have 8 teams remaining right here, and we're in the 4th going to the 5th phase of the circle. So you won't be soaking so much outside of blue, and that would force all those engagement to happen right now. But those on the southern part, or if not the northern part of this area, is in trouble because of the lightning zone. I believe it's AGAL who managed to pull that off, damaging Team Aki, but Do puts himself in harm as he tries to shoot them some of the players right here from Team Aki, but smart enough on him, he does have a launch pad that he can use that can be his escape.
Oh? Excuse me? Flash landing right on top of GRW, Aki landing right on top of BTR. Oh, this is gonna be a massive 5-team battle over here. There are no holds barred right now. Mink goes down, Masala desperately trying to use the heal so that he can keep himself alive, and down goes Flash. ABCD takes the final nail in the coffin. C-Bank desperately trying to keep Bigatron alive over here as Nameless and Cypher try to hunt him down. Koja discovered. You puts his bullet in his face with the M8. It'll be close range shot, and AGAL have massive control over this side of the circle. They don't need to rush GW right now, and they will only try to gatekeep Vamos Esports because they're on the edge and everybody's putting the pressure on them.
After moments of waiting, finally that pays off. AGL did manage to get a lot, and a god name coming from the Do himself, taking down 3 players from Buriram United and eliminating them. Down to 4 we go, but battle still being threatened by RRQ, and Do is here for the rescue. He did manage to survive, and now recovery will be cleared, and they are also in view of a 3 back-to-back booyah.
I have no idea how Barros survived over there. I don't know if RRQ whiffed their shots or if Barros just has that much better movement, but he makes it to safety. And now AG Global can get their second wave of attack as well. Pichu from GW also doing his best to repel away the invaders, but they will need to get out of this situation because AG Global is putting the screws to them. Wambos Esports also not afraid to use their throwables to put GW under pressure. Luckily, they have tiny roof as cover, so they will be safe from RRQ for the time being, but that doesn't mean that RRQ is not gonna put any more pressure. AG Global now have to inch closer, forcing the battle against GOW, and they are at the same time worried about RRQ shooting them down. They should be rightfully worried. Abai puts a bullet in Nameless's brain, and as soon as they pick him back up, another flash freeze to take him down. Can he survive this onslaught? Because half that screen is white. It's basically the Arctic Circle over here in the middle of the desert, ladies and gentlemen. The weather changes so quickly, and so does the tide of the battle. GOW still surviving, making this little tiny broken house into a fortress of sorts, and AG Global desperately to knock down the doors. They want to kick down that door and get GOW out of this game. Dew and Barros forcing the issue, but they're simply not getting the angles. GOW is just putting glue wall after glue wall, sealing themselves in, safely ensconced in this tiny house. Can AG Global finally knock down the doors, or will Vamos Esports try to get the advantage by capitalizing on this battle? AG Global decide, nope, no point getting inside there now. Just go to the other side of the wall and try try to make sure you don't get shot by RRQ. Landmines also placed. Seville getting upside. He's trying to lock AG Global with that glue wall. And they are indeed all corralled into a tiny corner. Cypher shooting his way through, taking down the demons, exercising the demons, and exercising his rights to control this circle.
Great timing being utilized by AGAL right now. And even with the pressure of both Gao and RRQ, they still manage to survive. But there goes RRQ right now after waiting. A couple of players is still on fire, and now is the elimination leader 2 being challenged by a Bay. But 2 knows what to do. And same goes for backup coming from the other side. And Nameless goes for the pickup, making sure that they have more numbers against RRQ. But unfortunately, Gao Esports with a hook gun, they did aggress against Paros, but they are on a standstill. A little bit of waiting game onto the edge of a circle between 2 Nameless and Rans, so that they will have an advantage of that sound cue. But Gao Esports will just waiting for anyone who will fall to their crosshairs.
Gao Esports have set up a siege around this little tower. AG Global and RRQ both forced to be unwilling roommates, both forced to stay inside a tiny piece of the tower. None of them really want to be here. They both feel trapped. They feel claustrophobic. And Rans is just counting his lucky stars. He's just hoping that AG Global don't break down that wall and try to hunt him down. And he's lucky that they're going down instead. Nameless. He's acting like a fearless player right now as he's trying to land those jump shots with the M590, hoping to isolate the fights against GOW. And GOW no longer lays siege to the tower. They are not even focusing on Rans anymore. Rans is just taking damage to the blue zone, hoping that he will be able to survive. Pops a time turner, pops 2 more glue walls, still alive and kicking. Rans is running away, running for the hills, and somehow GOW have no choice but to chase him, but they're having so much difficulty. Finally, they land a couple of shots. Rans down to 50 HP, and Pichu finally puts him out of his misery. 3v2. AG Global, a nearly impossible task to line up their hat-trick booyah. Can they make it happen? They both jump onto you at the same time. Nameless once again has to be absolutely fearless. Lands the shot onto Seville, confirms the elimination. But Pichu finally puts the nail in the coffin. And GOW deny AG Global their 3rd booyah. GOW get a booyah of their own.
GOW. I love the patience.
This is round 2 of this fight, baby. It's once again Budorai Esports facing the exact same team they faced a couple of hours ago, right in this spot.
Yeah, and this is where Brim United did lose out that fight. So that might be just a game 1 jitters, wherein they didn't expect a hot drop to happen and they were a little bit complacent. But with Jonah trying to pull away from the rest of the squad, making sure that they have a surprise factor, there goes the backstab. But Raja does have a cord firepower in hand, but priority on the pickup is what they are doing, what BRU is doing right now, forcing one of the players, if not the final player of Esports Putrajaya away. So round 2, BRU got this point, so it's 1-1 in the scoreline.
Yep, but keep in mind that last time Budorai Esports managed to get 3 eliminations, the 4th guy was not able to. Oh no, it's deja vu, man. It's deja vu all over again. Kenshin running for his life. He gets away from Budorai and walks straight into the crosshairs of WAG.
I think they were trying their luck a second time around, which they failed, and WAG was just waiting for them. But speaking of WAG, since the hit list has been triggered against them, thinking that this is the final player of Esports Putrajaya, now...
Yeah, so while Budorai Esports continues staying towards peak, you've got Secret WAG climbing up from Pochinok towards peak. Meanwhile, Sunday, APCT, dodging around. He's got his alphabet on point, but does he have his aim on Fawarak? It doesn't seem so. He's spotted out with the TPP, but he has no idea that Reset and Fix are about to jump on him super fast. Yeah, he did not see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, he was just a distraction in there, making sure that he buys plenty of time for the rest of the squad. But Leon, M590 for the chase, didn't expect the backstab. Plus the Blalliant dash in there coming from Goku, and that is one good trick.
I don't want to let go of that momentum at all. Speaking of momentum, Wamos Esports desperately need it. They're fighting near the water tower. MZ climbing downstairs. with PE Esports also on the horizon, Vamos Esports really need to reprioritize their fights over here. They discover Nero near the cell phone tower and they both rush him down. They're gonna disembark from the vehicle. Nero now trapped in a 1v2. They've dashed right past him. Another glue wall put up. How is Nero still alive? He's buying time for his teammates to move in and help him out. What? But unfortunately, Zeus and Israel put quick work and put him under. LBT and Bedep could not save their teammates. But now it seems like they have another problem because Sichuan is a little too close to the gangsters. And these gangsters are not going to take any prisoners. Sichuan, he's gone undetected. Sundis is exchanging positions with Zeus and Israel jumping onto MDED again. MDED escaped from danger just a few seconds ago, but now he's in danger again. Nope, he isn't. He says call an ambulance, but not for me. He will turn the tides around and instantly the gangsters pick up 3 eliminations on the trot.
Yeah, force themselves in that engagement when we thought Vamos has advantage because of vehicle takedown on those glue walls as well as a number on the get-go. But nope, let's not count out gangsters just yet. They might have come from the bottom of the leaderboard, but they have the fire on them. They just need to deal with a few players in here from AGAL, but they use a vehicle, probably for getaway. Spots one, and there goes the jump, but Saifa is waiting the same with 2, and with that, they had to pay the price. They get eliminated on 10.
Hold up. Head? Yeah. That was the most cinematic fight I've seen in Free Fire in my 5-year career. What on earth was that? The vehicle just flew over his head and then blew up in a matter of seconds. That's some cinematic stuff right there, bro. Replay editor, please hit that. I want to see it when the final replay rolls around. But for now, I want to see if Joanna can deal with this situation. No, he can't. As soon as he climbs up the stairs, Nan has his number. Spring.
And this is one thing that WAG might have been waiting for. They know Peak is occupied by Brim United, but they are waiting for a third party to distract BRU. On our side, BTR! No need for distraction. If you have a combination of a Trogon plus that AWM from elimination, but 6 in the placement, so now they might be able to get more. But unfortunately, on the
gets caught by 4 players of Team Flash. And here, look what we have. It's WAG forcing the battle against RRQ. Not surviving on 1 HP. How did T-Koi not finish that battle? Because a lot of these teams have been having that problem, right? They have one good game and then they just falter in the next immediately. Even Aki has been a victim of that inconsistency. Let's see if the Flash can force those mistakes out of Aki once again. Nades landing right beside them. Mink almost got away, but Fix has the knock, and he's gonna close in the distance. ABCD finally with that Trogan puts Fix out of his misery. The Trono battle also doesn't pan out for them. ABCD has been able to acquire a knock, and the Flash, they reset everything. But Team Akeem badly miscalculated that. They thought they would have the advantage, but no more. Reset has to get to safety. He cannot. The God is watching him.
Yeah, the God is watching him, and he's watching everyone in this gameplay. And he get this distance knowing that he trusts his teammates for Team Flash deal with the rest of Team Aki. But what's questionable is the position as well as how Team Aki has been
get alternate streams of revenue. So this is a massive W by Garena. Oh, speaking of W, I am very afraid about them getting some L's over here because Buriram clashing up against Flash. This could be dangerous. Time Turner popped up at close range. And while they've got a good way to jiggle in and out of this one, Moshi lands the first shot onto Zome. No follow-up yet. They tried to isolate Getna, but they've not succeeded so far. Moshi with yet another knock. He's just on fire today. And there you go. They take to the skies and they get plucked out. Their wings clipped. And Flash Esports go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, well, that's one thing though. I mean, one thing that I didn't expect is Moshi and M590 going up close and personal. Most of the time, he's just keeping his distance. But no, not this time. But for PE Sports, I think they need to keep their distance right now after this pickup because though they dealt with a couple of players from AGAL, they will be losing out.
Here on the route, they should be pretty safe from Buriram as well. Hold on though, Buriram seem to be rushing them right now. No time to waste. Pichu with 2 knocks onto Juena as well as Vasana. That's amazing. He saves his team. But Vasana, he recovers instantly. Getna also comes through. But no, they find Moshi. And now Buriram Esports just have that cell phone tower for cover. GOW at least have been forced down from that garage house. And as they try to get towards the warehouse, WAG are also taking pot shots at them. Oh, but WAG let them escape. they now turn their attentions towards Buriram. Buriram thought that they were out of the woods, but nope, they are still very much in danger. Whether it's ZOW or whether it's WAG, they still need to fight their way into the zone, and now even Bigatron is jumping into the mix. A 3-team affair. This would be an absolute cluster battle which nobody will escape from, and Buriram gets blown to bits. Seville with the lovely nade takes down Koja. Seabank also came to the rescue, but just cannot make it happen. Time turner pop, but no Tiva means it's a very slow res. Gives Barros the time to come in and wipe out Bigatron by Vitality.
Barros trying to clutch up everything in here from long range on a VSK, and he is doing it all by himself. Going solo right now, and hopefully he will not be rushing here because he is though is he will not have any cover as he approach this rotation being done by PE Sports as well as Secret WAG. What a good thing though is he can steal some of those elimination, similar to what we're seeing on this end as Nero is down, and if WAG can lose out some players, that give AGAL a fighting chance. But a 1v4, really tough to call if he can win this, and Secret WAG might be getting their booyah in this game for the final map of day number 1, and there you have it. They're not backing down without a fight, and they got that big B.
Secret